I think that's it for the level 8s. Yeah, and we got 6 of those. And now, some cards that might shock you guys. Light Pulsar and Dark Flare. Now, like I mentioned earlier, Light Pulsar is good because he's level 6, which is very important come the next set. And then Dark Flare, I've just always liked Dark Flare's effect and stuff. Although he is level 5, which before was cool, but now it's sort of a downside. But basically, Light Pulsar is a 1 tribute 2500 monster, which in its own regard is pretty sweet. And when he's sent to the graveyard from the field, meaning it can miss timing, which is good and bad. It means I can't go, Light Pulsar, White Stone, Sink, blow up the field, summon something like Dark Flare. But it's still great because you can use stuff like, you can Chain Call of the Haunted to get Light Pulsar and bring a Dark type back, like Red Eyes or stuff. And his summon effects are actually pretty cool. I have used both of their summon effects, usually just to run over Evil Kaisers, because you'd summon something like off of Totem or something, and then they negate it with their Evil Kaiser or whatever. If it's Dolka, that's so easy to deal with, but if it's Logia, then they'll probably negate it. And then, you can drop Pulsar and run it over, or drop Dark Flare and crash into it. The shame is Pulsar is the one you want to crash into things, but he has more attack, so... Pulsar's also got I haven't used it like at all, but it does have the Dark Simorg effect, which is just an added bonus, and that's nice. I know a lot of people really don't like this card, and I kind of didn't when they changed it to missing timing, but it's still really good. I mean, basically, just think of it as a decoy dragon. Remember that little guy? I traded mine away, otherwise I'd show you it. It's a decoy dragon that is a huge beat stick, and you can easily special summon it, at least in this deck. You can easily special summon it without basically altering your deck. And it's a 1 tribute 2500 monster. He's easy to loop, and I'm fairly certain... no, I don't think that works. I was thinking about Light and Darkest Dragon, but I don't think that works because of how the effect resolves. But he's just great. I mean, just summoning him, when you have Red Eyes in the grave, they have to banish it, basically, or mind control it. And he's good. He's not broken, but he's good. Now, where he's bad is that he is a tribute monster. I kind of have to say this part because otherwise I'll get flamed, but he is a tribute monster, which is bad, although he does have the stats to make up for it. He has that chaos aspect, which in a standard deck doesn't fit well, but in this deck, it's easy to drop without even trying, especially with Dragon Ravine, which allows you to, ditch a White Stone to send a Dark type, and then, boom, Light Pulsar. He misses timing, so like I said, no synchro shenanigans, and unfortunately he won't work with the rank 6 Exceed, which would basically mean you exceed with him, detach Pulsar, summon a Red Eyes from your grave, and then summon like a Red Eyes from your deck, and then, summon something, and then summon something, and then exceed the Red Eyes into the Mega Cannon, and then do all sorts of shenanigans. That can happen, but it doesn't mean that Pulsar isn't a good card. He's great for chainability with Call of the Haunted, so this deck has both Stone and Pulsar to chain Call to, making Call a much more live card in the deck. And he's basically just a huge floater, which is pretty good for dragons. Now, I wouldn't run him at more than 1. In this deck, I tend not to run more than 1 of cards, simply because of the reverse toolbox and control with Ravine and stuff. And I probably wouldn't run him... Okay, I wouldn't run him in Standard, but this deck makes him work, and from what I've played of him, he's actually a pretty good card. So, better than you think, Pulsar Dragon. Like I said, I'll probably do more on him on the blog, Anyways, Dark Flare was the one I was looking forward to after Pulsar's rulings got changed, or his text got changed, but I actually didn't find myself using Dark Flare's effect that much. Now, I did change the deck, and I'll tell you about that later. Actually, I'll tell you right now. I took out the 2 terraforming I was running, since what happened was I kept drawing into like a terraforming and 2 ravines, or like 2 terra, or, you know, it was basically making my hands dead, and I had ravine up all the time, and most of the time I didn't really need the toolbox off ravine, and, you know, it made Dark Flare's effect basically useless. Now, I took out the ravines to put some more weight on Dark Flare, and hopefully that'll go well. But if it doesn't, and I'm still not using his effect, I'm going to move him to the side for graveyard-heavy dependent matches, and replace him with either Torrential Tribute or Interplanetary, you know the one, who is actually, it's hilarious that he's actually a decent card. You know, he would fill up the spot of another Dark type, 5 stars. Unfortunately, if he were level 6, he would be absolutely incredible for dragons, but he's not. Or Torrential Tribute, which personally I don't like in this deck because of the huge amount of, you know, big monster spam. So that's Dark Flare and Pulsar. You may hate them, but honestly I think they're pretty cool, and the art is awesome. Now we've got, for the rest of the deck, only minor changes. The 3 Wyverns, and 3, where's the other one? Here it is. 3 White Stones, only 2 Totem. I found I wasn't actually using Totem's effect all that much. As good as he is, you know, 2 is, I mean, I needed space, honestly, and Totem came out, and I didn't really miss him, and now I don't have to swap out my totems between this and my standard deck, so that's good. Also, I managed to keep the low monster count the same by adding a Divine Dragon Apocalypse. Like I said earlier, he can toolbox Vandy, Lad, and, you know, summon him, ditch a stone, get a Red Eyes, banish for Red Eyes, activate Red Eyes effect, summon the Blue Eyes, boom. 2-card combo. Basically, he's a 1-card combo since all you need is another card in your hand. And this also helps with the toolboxing, you know, Ravine. You got this on the field, dish something for Ravine, send something. Ravines basically add any dragon, discard 2 cards, and add 1 dragon-type monster from your deck to your hand. You know, like having a Red Eyes on the field means discard 1 card, special summon any dragon from your deck. So he just, he's incredible. And not only that, but he's a Dark type, so I've even ditched, send him from the grave to the Ravine to banish for Pulsar or Dark Flare. So he's just an all-around great card, especially for this deck. Sorry if this video is going on very long, but I haven't done one in a while, and I kind of had a lot to say. So, we've got our 3 Ravine. Like I said, no more Terra, so this is the brunt of it. I'm not running like 2 Ravine, 1 Terra, because I don't want, you know, the taking out of the Terra is mainly to get rid of dead draws, and Ravine itself isn't actually that much of a dead draw, as opposed to Terra can be. 2 trade-in, even better now since Vandy and Lad are even better targets for trade-in, since I can just grab them back with DDA. And then we've got our space, basically just the staples. Born, Future Fusion, and Book. If any of you saw my post on TCG Player, I didn't run Book when I first, you know, threw it together at the locals, but, you know, I just got completely owned by Fossil Dyna, and exceeds all over the place, so this can interrupt exceeds, akin to interrupting Synchro Summons last meta, I guess. And so I did put it back in. It should be in here. My mistake for taking it out. I'd rather have 2 totems and a book than 3 totems. And then trap-wise, it's exactly the same as last time. I've got my 6 counter traps, always great. 2 call, which is even better thanks to Pulsar, and a dust shoot, which is still incredible. So that's the updated deck. I know some of you may not agree with my choices, but honestly, this deck allows me to use so many cards that I wouldn't otherwise use. So it's just really a fun dragon deck to play. So yeah, I mean, hate all you want, but I'm going to use Pulsar, and hopefully if Dark Flare can work, I'll use him too. Like I said earlier, I'm going to keep promoting this just because I don't want to be writing to myself, although it would probably be good for me to start writing. I will go over the rank 6 Exceed in Galactic Overlord on my blog, and a bunch of good level 6s. There's only a few for dragons, and what our decks might look like now that rank 6 is a much better option. In addition to the Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon and the new rank 8, both of the rank 6 and the rank 8 are from the Hieroglyph archetype, which I thought was really cool at first, but we'll see what the wording is, because if it is indeed special summon a normal monster and its attack and defense are reduced, as opposed to special summon a normal monster with 0 attack and defense, then this deck will be huge, since I'll be able to special summon Blue Eyes from my deck, which would just be insane, especially for the Cyber Dragon and stuff. But I do like that archetype, considering it's basically revolved around making Dragonic Tactics a good card. So my props to Konami for coming up with that. In fact, all of Order of Chaos, Photon Shockwave, Galactic Overlord, I've just loved these sets so far, although they have pretty much screwed up the meta, since when I was at Locals, it was basically just they were either running Wind Up or some Evil Kaiser spam, which really wasn't fun. So I didn't actually go to the tourney, so I didn't want to deal with all that, and I was just sort of testing the deck. So I had fun, but the meta's kind of bad right now, and whatever that, I got a glimpse of that Zen Mighty. Really, that's just like I don't even know where they'd get the idea to make a card as broken as that, but okay, do what you want, Konami. You gave me my dragons, so have fun with the meta. Alright, I probably rambled a bit longer than I should have, but that's all for now. Peace, YouTube.